Well, it's good to see everybody's faces. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get right to it. So a few quick announcements. Going to be seeing a bunch of you in person this week. We're doing our Fitme event out here in Washington State. The coaching team will actually be here first. We're doing staff and team training on Wednesday and Thursday. And then our Fitme weekend is Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And so for those of you who went to Maryland and those you can't make it, we'll miss you. And for those of you coming, we are excited to see you. And because we are going to be in person next week, the Sunday coaching call will be pre-recorded. So I'll send it out Sunday morning on your app, just like I did in past weeks. So you'll get it first thing in the morning with your target for the week. I believe that is our only announcement. Topic for the week is going to build off of last week. Last week, I gave you guys this topic of like, let's set goals before Thanksgiving. Let's pick something to work on, whether it's physical, whether it's like movement oriented, whether it's restorative, whatever, because we have this chunk of time right before the holidays. So I encouraged everybody to pick a goal. And I know that most of you did it. Most of you picked something. Some of you might not have, and it's not too late. But I needed to follow up on this because I wanted to share with you what I teach coaches. So for a while now, I've been training coaches with different things, and both are Fitme coaches, but I actually wrote a curriculum that trains coaches. And I was thinking about our goal this week, or like our target to set a goal. And I was like, you know what? We've talked about goals a lot, but we haven't talked about what makes good action steps. And so I thought I would just like share a little bit about action steps because I think it'll help you. It is certainly something that coaches think about and learn. And one of the things that I show coaches and teach coaches is that anytime you have a conversation with someone you're coaching, at the end, there should be clarity about what the action steps are. Whatever it is, you should have clear 2 to 3 action steps that you're doing. And so if you set a goal off of our target last week, and so you have a goal for the next 4 or 5 weeks, or maybe you have a bigger goal. Maybe you're like, Christy, I'm already working on a goal, so I'm just going to go with this goal. Each week, you should have really good clarity around what are your 2 or 3 action steps this week. And so if you don't, that's one of the ways you can use your Fitme coach is to have that conversation. I'm working on this goal. I'm not sure exactly what I need to have be my action steps. So I thought I would go over what makes a good action step for all of us. It'd be kind of a good reminder. So first thing is that action steps actually move you forward. And oftentimes we get saying the goal and saying the action step confused. So for example, if you're like, my goal is to have my closet cleaned out, my whole closet needs to be like reorganized. That's my goal. So then my action step this week is to clean my closet. It's like actually just saying the goal again. The action steps have to move you forward. They should be, so goals can be challenging. Action steps should be easy. So when you're thinking about, okay, like I set my goal, I'm going to like completely overhaul my closet, or I'm going to completely overhaul my pantry, or I'm going to, do something. I'm going to do, 40 cycling workouts. Like that's my goal. I'm going to do that. That's my goal. Your action step has to be smaller and easier for it to make any sense. So maybe your action step is going to move you towards that goal. So maybe your first action step is that you're going to take those workout times that you want to do this week and put them in your calendar. So you're going to do 3 this week and you're going to put them in your calendar. And your action step was actually putting the workouts in your calendar. That's going to help you achieve the goal. Or maybe if it's like say your goal is to like overhaul your closet, your action step might be first to go get the bins that you're going to use to sort between throwaway stuff, giveaway stuff, and store for later. So getting the bins set up is the action step. It's much more doable than the big goal, but it is like very definitive. Good action steps are also specific. Like get the bins for the 3 things is specific. So you can say like, my goal is to, maybe your intention is that you want to like be kinder to yourself this week. Well, that's a good intention. It's like a good thought, but we actually need it to be specific for it to be actionable. And so you have to think about, okay, well, my intention is this, but what is the behavior or the situation or the outcome that I want to achieve? And think about those things. So it doesn't just take the intention, but we turn it into for example, maybe your goal is to improve how you talk to yourself. And so your intention is like, yeah, I want to not like beat myself up when I like try on clothes for my day. I always say something crappy to myself when I don't want to. Well, we need to make specific action steps around that. And so maybe defining an action step would define like in that situation where you find yourself in front of the mirror and you have just said something that is unkind to yourself. The action step associated with that is whenever I do that, I am going to go ahead and record a voice memo that tells me something different. Something positive, something encouraging. So then the voice memo becomes the behavior, the action step that you can stick to rather than just the intention. Good action steps are also in your control. If it's outside of your control, if it's something that you're hoping that your family will do or that your boss will do or that your partner or your spouse will do, it can't be your action step. It has to be something that you can do. And typically it needs to be something that we can say like, did you do it? Yes or no. So it's that kind of clarity at the end of the week. Did you do it? Yes or no? And no, sometimes no is okay if that's the answer, because you're still getting accountability around the action step. You might need to do it next week. Maybe it didn't happen, but it's clear. Did you do it? Yes or no? You should be able to answer that for your action steps. The next thing about good action steps they are commitments. They aren't like maybes or I'm thinking about. So if, for example, you commit to hitting 3 workouts this week, you're like, well, I hope that I can probably do them after work, like on my way home. That's sort of an intention or a thought, but saying I will do them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on my way home from work. And my action step is that I'm going to put my 3 sets of workout clothes in the car. That's my one action step. Check that box. It's moving you forward towards your goal. And it's a commitment. It's not a thinking about or hoping to, or maybe it'll work out that I can. And remember, action steps should be easy. They're moving you towards your goal. They are not the goal. And then lastly, this is always like the sanity check. Like action steps can be checked off a list. If you are like me, you know what I like better than a list? I like Post-its better than a list. So I put to-dos or action steps on Post-its. And then once they are done, I take them down and then I throw them away. It is so like happy to throw away Post-its when you complete something. But even checking the box on a list feels really good. And so your action steps towards your goal should be something that you could check off, not just a thought or an intention. So let me review these just a little bit because I talked a lot about these, but I think we talk about goals a lot in Fitme, but without this understanding of action step part, we're not actually making as much progress towards our goals as we could. And remembering that action steps usually are like 1 week oriented, which is kind of perfect because you talk to your coach every week on Marco Polo. We have these Fitme family meetings on Sundays. And so breaking down whatever it is, your bigger goals into weekly mini action steps is how you move towards it. Now, it doesn't mean that sometimes you don't need to reassess your goal. It doesn't mean that sometimes you don't need to carry an action step forward. But this kind of clarity is really going to help because like, I want to start eating better isn't really a goal or an action step. So it's a good intention, but it's not actually helping you do it until you get clarity around what does eating better mean. So you clarify the goal. And then you say, okay, well, what are the action steps this week that I'm going to do? 2 or 3, not 200. So remember, action steps move you forward. Goals can be challenging. Action steps should be easy. They should be doable. Action steps are behaviors or thoughts or decisions. So improving like how you talk to yourself isn't an action step. It needs to be something around that. When this happens, I do this, or I'm going to do this first when I wake up each morning. So being very specific about what it is. Good action steps are in your control. They're not somebody else's choices. They're yours. Good action steps are commitments. They're not like little, maybe if I have time, I might do it. Maybe, perhaps. And then good action steps can be checked off a list when you complete them. Having a really good grasp on action steps isn't just going to help you with nutrition and exercise and, positive mindset around all of these things, but this is just good general organization for anything you want to do. Apply this to literally anything you want to do. I want to start saving more money. Okay, that's good intention. Is that a goal? Nope. Let me be more specific about that goal. I want to save $10,000 in 2022. Okay, all right, great. That's a good goal. Now we need small, doable action steps. So it doesn't have to be just about this. This applies to pretty much anything. But when it comes to food, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to how we talk to ourselves or how we just like take care of ourselves, sometimes we can just default to vague. And getting clarity around this and having clarity with your coach should be prompting you to be specific and also be clear about what your action steps are. But you also, ultimately, this is your journey, and have ownership over the clarity is really important. So if you don't have clarity around what your action steps are, I want you to ask for that clarity. Help me figure out what my 2 or 3 action steps are this week so that I can check them off. And then when we talk next week, I can say this did or didn't happen to move forward. A lot of times the reason we don't want to do this is because of other things, stories we tell ourselves, things we don't actually want to change. And so call those out if that's what it is too. If you're like, I actually, self-sabotage my workouts generally, then you might want to talk about that with your coach so that that those action steps have to be even more doable and specific. Because again, this is very like surface level. We're complicated and interesting people. We have reasons that we don't do things, even things that we know that we can or we should do. But oftentimes just a lack of clarity and a lack of specifics and not having our action steps be doable is part of the problem. I keep saying this over and over again. I'm going to keep saying it, but we don't have a follow through problem. We have a setting achievable goals problem, or setting realistic action steps or clear action steps. And so instead we're like, I can't follow through. I can't stick to anything. I can't whatever. Instead, you can when you apply this strategy. So tell me your thoughts. Tell me specifically, like if you have a goal that you set last week, and based off of what we just talked about, what would your action steps be this week to move you forward towards your goal? At least one action step. Tell us your goal and then your action steps. Tara.
I've got one.
Yeah.
So my goal was to journal every day until Thanksgiving, because I've always wanted to implement that, but I've never been very good at it. And so I leave my journal right on the little coffee table in the room where I make my coffee, so that it's there and I have to like look at it while I make my coffee to make me do it every morning.
So for this week coming up, like if I'm your coach and I'm talking to you right now and I know this is your goal, what are your action steps around achieving the goal for this week coming up?
Oh, well, this week's going to be nuts. So I'm going to have to remember to bring it with me and maybe sleep with it.
Can you make like remember to bring it with you is the right idea, but that's more of like a thought. So what can you do that's specific and action oriented to bring it with you?
Put it on my list.
Do you have a
I
list?
don't
Do you have
know.
a packing list?
Yeah. I guess I should add that to my packing list.
Yeah, write it on the packing list. That's an action step.
Yep. Write it on the packing list.
Mhm.
Have it accessible when I'm at Amy's so that I remember to do it when.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be
What do you
exciting and fun. And
what do you imagine accessible looks like? Is that like somewhere visible? Is it like on your pillow?
yeah, like I think I'm going to have it right on my pillow.
Okay.
Or I'm just going to get too excited because I'm with everybody too. Right. And I'm going to just push it off because I know myself and that's what I do. So, yeah.
And then
so I'll have to stick with it.
So I really liked this example because it seems so straightforward, like journal every day. It's like, got it, but then when we're talking about implementing it in your real life, like your real life this week is kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. And for most of you, that's how these things are. It's like, oh, this sounds pretty simple and straightforward. But then when it comes to implementing, it gets kind of crazy. So then you have to get a little bit granular and talk about the specifics of how it will actually happen in the circumstance that's coming up. And so I love that, Tara, as an example. So your action step 1, put it on the list. That's easy to answer. Did you do it? Yes or no? Hopefully your list will be the reason it ends up in your bag. And then putting it on your pillow every day during travel is your second action step. I like it. Does anybody else have an example based off of their goal or clarity around what their action steps are this week?
I feel like my goal is fairly simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided to log all of my food in the Lose It app every day for the next 5 weeks.
Yep.
Some people may think that's like overboard, but it helps keep me honest. And it also helps me remember that I ate, because sometimes I eat and I forget and I'm like, wait, what did I do today? And just that fact of like putting it in. And it also shows that breakdown between fat, carbs, and protein. And just doing it for the past couple of weeks, I've noticed I've been really trying to work on my protein, but apparently I really like carbs.
Food journaling is a really good tool sometimes. It can like tell you a lot of stuff that you don't even realize. Cindy, do you have anything coming up this week that you need to apply an action step for in order to stick with that goal?
Yes, I'm actually traveling on Wednesday and Thursday, and it's not the type of travel that would be like really conducive with bringing food with me. So when it's like required to eat out, logging it makes me look at restaurants in advance to see what is the most balanced. So I would say that would be my step, because I know like where we're all like going out to eat, so I can like research that before and at least not get there and be like, I want to order everything. I'll say, no, I'm going to stick with, try to do the best of a Fitme plate that I can.
So your action step sounds like to look at the restaurant menus in advance.
Yes.
That you're going to go to. And then will you log it in advance or will you log it like in the evening?
I'll log it once I eat it. Do you best laid plans? And then I'd have to go and delete it and then change it.
Do you need a reminder to do that, or will you definitely do it?
No, I'll do it.
Okay. So it just sounds like looking at the menu is the action step that you need to be successful this week.
Yes, and a step that I've already taken, and we've already like had the discussions of where we are going to eat,
Mm-hmm. I
and
like it.
instead of like one of the mainstays with like my group of friends is everybody loves the Olive Garden, but I was like, how about a steakhouse? That seems a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. And everybody's like, oh, we can do that. And I was like, okay, great. So just having that conversation ahead of time.
Dude, that's so good that you even like, I know it sounds so silly, but just being able to like have a group of friends and be like, hey, can we go here? And then them be down for it. I feel like that is something that we often just like go with the flow and don't ask for what we want or need. And then we wouldn't even know that everybody would be down for it. So I think that's awesome. And everybody can find a good fit me plate at a steakhouse for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
I like it, Cindy. I think that's really good clarity. Your goal is simple and straightforward, and what you need to do this week seems like clear with that action step. Like it.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Mine is the strength training. So I did the first week last week or this week, and I did 2 days. So I'll do week 2 and then just put it into my calendar of what days I want it done. So I want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I will put that into my calendar. And then that way I will have the accountability for myself.
So if we take your our thing number 4 about action steps is like taking it from like I want to I will.
Yes.
I'm going to,
I'm going to do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And
yes.
so your action steps in order to make that possible to move you towards your goal is to put it in your real calendar. Do you have a paper calendar or do you use a electronic
No, I
calendar?
use my phone because
Okay.
that way it beeps me and my Fitbit will go off and tell me, hey, you've got something to do.
Okay.
So I have to set a time to do that. Yeah.
So you put it in your calendar and then you're going to record it with your Fitbit.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you need action step wise? Are all your clothes clean, your workout clothes?
Yep.
Everything you need? Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Those are your 2 action steps. I like it.
Woo.
Woo. Sweet. So if we didn't go over yours, then I want you to clarify with your coach what your action steps are for the week. And again, it can be moving towards your short-term goal, like the goal you set last week, or it can be moving you towards your greater goals, your bigger intentions of things that you're working towards. But you should have clarity around your action steps each week. And again, sometimes action steps can be really easy. Like context counts, guys. Like sometimes action steps can feel hard and that's awesome. And sometimes they should be like, yup, I clipped my fingernails today. Action step done. Right? Like sometimes it needs to be like that and that's fine, but you can keep that habit. What are those little action steps I'm going to do this week? And so that is your target for the week. Get very specific with your action steps with your coach. And if you didn't get specific with your goal, then start with that too. And that's it. Don't forget, next week will be sent to you via your app. So we won't be live, but we'll pick up the following week. And if you need anything, just reach out.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.